Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
Non-binary listeners, ladies and gentlemen, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookians, the traveling Wilburys. The audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our host, past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All new materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events, unrelated outcomes, may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. The contents, spelled with a K, of this episode are the property of Volcanic Dingo LLC. All rights are reserved. It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler. I am just trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
I guess I'll go to Florida to get myself some sun. There ain't no more opportunity here. Everything's been done. Sometimes I think of Tweeter, sometimes I think of Jan, sometimes I don't think about nothing but the monkey man. I am off to Florida. Very literally by this time tomorrow, I should be in Florida, or well on my way to Florida. Well on my way to Florida by this time tomorrow. Welcome to episode 147 of our Casino Combat podcast. If this is your first time here, we have 2 rules. We have 2 very simple rules for this era of the podcast. Rule 1, if you're in a casino, as it hurts no other player, do whatever you want. Be yourself. Do what makes sense to you. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Split those tens if that's what you're thinking you should do right now. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing in their game. Don't worry about how they're holding their dice. Don't worry about the fact that they brought money in the middle of your throw. If it's not going to hurt any other player, do whatever you want is the only rule for rule number 1. Rule number 2, this is a big podcast. We've been doing this for 3 years. We are approaching 150 episodes. That's 150 plus hours of content. Too much for me to explain everything. So if you do not know something, if I say something that you don't understand, if something comes up that you're not familiar with, if you don't know what Casino Combat Slot Tactics is, if you don't know what TRG Slot Strategy El Numero Dos is, if you don't know something, ask. That's the second and most important rule. I just want you to ask. Ask Google. Google knows a lot about us. We are nationwide. We are worldwide. We are a phenomena. So Google probably knows the answer to your question. If Google does not know the answer to your question, find us on Instagram. Ask. Find us on Twitter. Ask. Find us in the Casino Combat Squad Facebook group and ask. In the last case, if you need to ask, just send an email to trg@casinocombat.com. I will find you the information that you are looking for. I will point you to the Casino Combat online resource that you are looking for. We will make sure that you are educated and informed about winning the game of casino gambling, because that is, if this is your first time, what this is all about. This is about using the rules and structures created by the casino industry to live a casino-enhanced lifestyle and take a lot of value, both in cash and experiences, out of that casino relationship. That is exactly what we are all about. If this is your next time, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. You know I do. You know I appreciate you being here, and I do always appreciate the gift of your time. Let's jump right in. What are we going to do in episode 147 of our Casino Combat podcast? Every single episode, I do a little something I call the battle plan. And here's the battle plan for this episode. We are going to start out with a questions segment. Questions my sons ask. Because I had a great little conversation in the Slack Virtual VIP Lounge this week about a real interesting question, and I thought I'd make sure I put the emphasis on that and make sure that there is no misunderstanding and share something very important with you in the answer to that question. Then, we are going to take a minute, do a Core Koncepts segment. I've been looking at craps a lot. I've been playing a lot of craps. I've been working on my throw. I think there's a lot of value to making sure that you are let's call it ambidextrous. And I don't mean that in the literal sense of doing things equally well both ways, but in having multiple games that you have some skill mastery and a plan for. Craps is a great example of that. You can walk into almost any strip on the casino, any casino on the strip. I mangled that. You can walk into about any casino on the Las Vegas Strip right now, and blackjack to be played at a fair 3-2 level, it's going to be $50, $100 a hand. And that's way out of reach for some of us. But in those same casinos, you will find a $15 craps table. Sometimes, my game of choice is blackjack, but sometimes my game of choice isn't playable for whatever reason. And that's why having another game, and in my case now, in my wife's case now, another game and another game, right? Prefer blackjack, 3-2 at about a $25 level, so we got room to range up and down in an area of 2 and 3 units that we're comfortable with. Now we've got craps. We've got a little slot strategy that we're going to talk about in a minute. And then we've got, of course, the ability to go play some Let It Ride, thanks to Dr. ECE, fourth to the ring from the inner circle. So we're going to have a Core Koncepts segment and look at craps from a Core Koncepts point of view. Finally, we're going to finish up in the virtual VIP lounge with, quite honestly, just some musings, just some random thoughts of mine on the nature of being a gambler for profit. Just the things that are on my mind at this moment before I get ready to head out. I just kind of woke up this morning. I was inspired. I grabbed a glass of water. I grabbed my headset. I grabbed my microphone here in the glorious Casino Combat Studios in parts unknown. And I decided to put together a segment real quick. And then when I did the segment, I decided just to go ahead and put together an episode real quick. So bonus content, just what's on my mind in the virtual VIP lounge. And then I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to head to Florida to get myself some sun. What has been going on around the Casino Combat galaxy? Let me tell you, if you've been listening lately, you know there's a lot going on. New company that was formed. We've got a merch store up and running. We got a place where you can get your Casino Combat gear. Go to casinocombat.com, spell combat with a K. Click on the little tab that says gear right at the top right-hand corner, right by all the social media listings. Click on that. We got all kinds of great stuff. We got all kinds of great stuff for you there. If you don't see what you're looking for, if you don't find what you're looking for there, once again, use that email. Send me an email. Tell me what you want. The nice part about the way this store has been built is that if you really want the blue coffee mug instead of the white one that I picked, I can make you a blue coffee mug if that's your favorite color. If you really want the pink sweatshirt and you want the yin yang logo on it, I can make whatever you'd like me to make within reason. And I'm happy to do that for anybody in the squad that isn't finding the gear that they absolutely want. And then the last thing I want to kind of mention, because it does drive so much of what we're doing now, is the Slack Virtual VIP Lounge. The Virtual VIP Lounge is a real place in a virtual sense. We have got all kinds of chats and all kinds of conversations and all kinds of expertise and all kinds of knowledge. And the podcast is a wonderful way for me to highlight the important things there, but where else for free? And that's the key thing about this. I want a little effort. We want a little effort. Those of us that hang out there. It's a secret club that's out in the open. You got to work a little bit to get in the door. But where else for free on the internet do you have a gentleman who is an expert in Gator Gambler at playing blackjack tournaments at a very, very high level? He's playing for a lot of money, and he is an expert in playing blackjack tournaments. And then we've got Atlantic City Empress, who is an expert on slots. We have Sir Counselot, who is an advantage blackjack player, way more knowledgeable about blackjack in the nitty-gritty tiny details and nuances of the game, much more knowledgeable than I am. We have got a man who is amazing at analyzing casinos and casino games and casino reward systems and casino point systems and how you move money around. Dr. ECE, the East Coast emissary, inner circle member, the first one to ever earn a PhD in casino combat. We've got all these people and all these people who are the voices in my head that talk to me and understand, who are talking about gambling all the time. And that is an amazing resource. In this day and age, most people are not willing to put that kind of knowledge at your disposal and not charge you a fee. And when the guys put it together, Nakatomi Tony, Same Bet, Equine Ensign, when they put it together, they did a great service to the squad. They really did. If you want to join, if you want to come hang out, if you want to be part of one of the best gambling resources available and join those very smart minds in talking about winning the game of casino gambling and living a casino-enhanced lifestyle, you got to do two things. First, you got to find the real-world name of my home casino, Casino 2, 2.5 hours east and south of my home, and you got to send that to me on my email, and you get 3 tries to do that. A lot of people have done it. People from Australia, multiple people from Australia have figured this out. And if they can figure it out from Australia, I got to think it's harder to figure it out in Australia than it is in North America. Maybe I'm wrong, but if they can figure it out, you can figure it out. Do that. Once I tell you that you are a member of the Excelsior Brigade, then you got to find in the real world the man and men behind the call signs, Nakatomi Tony, Same Bet, Equine Ensign. Find one of them, ask for an invitation, and we would love to have you join us in the virtual VIP lounge. Absolutely love to have that happen. And the value of the Slack virtual VIP lounge is that we get great questions, and that's what we're going to do next, a question segment.
What?
My sons ask questions about gambling, listeners ask questions about gambling, and in a wonderful turn of events, Excelsior Brigade members in the Slack virtual VIP lounge ask questions about gambling. And so here's the setup for this. Here's the prompt for this. MCRC posted something in our slot channel on Slack where we talk about slot play, and he said, what are some good slot machines? What are people playing? I'm getting beat up by slots all the time here. I've lost the last, I forget what he said, but I've lost the last 3 or 4 times I played, just lost everything I put in. I need some ideas. And I did throw some ideas out to him. I did give him some thoughts and input. I did answer the question that he asked, and I told him that right now I'm playing Mo Mummy. I'm playing Devil's Lock, and then the new enhanced Devil's Lock All In or Wound Up or whatever it is, the one with the mirror universe you can play. Been playing that a lot. I really like that, and it's a companion product. Sharks Lock, been playing that a lot. Mrs. TRG has been playing Huff and Puff a good bit. Always fall back to Heidi's Beer House and Wonder Woman when I find those machines. But that's not the important part, and that's certainly not what I wanted to bring up to you today. The important part of what I shared with MCRC, with MC Rolling Checks, was I wanted to be really clear, and that's why I wanted to bring this to all of you today. It's why it was on my mind when I woke up this morning. I think I've been clear. I really do. If I have not been really clear, let me say it here as directly as I can. I don't win money for the most part. 11 months out of 12, we lose money with our own money playing TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos. I have not claimed, I am not claiming that it is a process that wins me money over time. There have been times where it wins me money over time, and 1 or 2 months, that 1 month a year that we don't win money or that we don't lose money, we make a lot of money because we hit a hand pay, something really great happens, several really good payoffs happen, and we don't play a lot of other times. Maybe I only play a few times and hit big. So there are some months where I win money using TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos, but they are few and far between. Here's why the slot strategy works. The money played with TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos in the places where I play it, in the places where we play it, generates free slot play in the months that follow. And the money we make on the free slot play almost every month, probably 11 months out of 12, again in the other direction, makes me more money on that money than the money I lost playing with my own money. So the simple example, I will sometimes lose $50 playing TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos with my own money. But I will make $100 playing the free slot play that the play from the previous months generated. And I get good tier points for the play that I've done with cash using El Numero Dos, and I get free tax-free imaginary money from it. So I get tier points, which earn tier status, which earn perks and benefits, and I get free tax-free imaginary money. Taken as a whole, taken as an entirety, it works, and it makes money, and it makes money or value. That's the way to say it. It makes value in other aspects of the casino relationship. I know that the money I lose this month is going to generate benefits in free slot play and money to spend for food and all those other things in the months going forward. And once I have the wheel moving, I just need to keep the wheel moving and keep things going. I need to stop in and play the free slot play and eat the free meal and pick up the free frying pan, and then come back and do it again and do it again. And each time I put a little money in a machine that I like, I have some entertainment value, and I have some of that rush of, oh, I might get the grand jackpot. This might be the time they bring me $10,000, and I walk away with a few bucks, or I walk away having lost a few bucks. And that is one of the core concepts. Win a small set amount and leave, lose a small set amount and leave, earn tier credits, earn free tax-free imaginary money, build the casino relationship. I often think that the slot play violates the core concepts, but it really doesn't. Bets go up after a win or a set of wins. Bets go up after a loss or a set of losses. Small set amount, walk away. Small win, walk away. Generate casino relationship. It absolutely follows the core concepts, but I wanted to be clear. I wanted MCRC to know, and by extension, I want all of you to know that if you had the impression that TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos is a consistent money maker, it is, but not in cash from that strategy. In the ancillary benefits and things that get generated from doing that strategy. And that is Core Koncepts compliant. And we are going to do a Core Koncepts segment next.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes. Now available in ooh, crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
Shaq here, spinning fast-acting pain relief with Icy Hot. Ice works fast, heat makes it last. Icy Hot, you're so back.
If you've been listening, you know, and if you haven't been listening, if this is your first time, let me update you. I've been on a bit of a craps journey lately. Really for almost 2 years now, probably, if you think about it, if we really think back and look back at it. Something Gabriel, the angel messenger of casino combat, got me to start looking at. And I've been working on my throw. I've been working on the physical part of it, the body mechanics part of it. But the thing I always want, and the thing I want to talk to you about today, is that as I started to get into the game, well, look, we've proven it in the sense that you can beat the game of craps by doing TRG2, always be grinding, or TRG4, win more, keep more, on the don't pass line. You absolutely can. We've proven it. Same bets looked at it. Equine Ensign has evaluated it in use with other systems as a kind of system within a system. It works. It's also not very exciting. And it also is pretty complicated in terms of the time commitment. Maybe complicated isn't the right word there, but there's a big time commitment to playing that way because there's a long time in resolving the bets. And the tier credits aren't very good, and it isn't very exciting, and you just kind of slowly grind your way either to a small profit or a small loss. It works. All those things that I've talked about for all these years, it all works, and we've all proven that it works. It's just not particularly exciting or particularly interesting. So my brain just keeps coming back to the same thing. It keeps coming back to those foundational ideas that I always talk about, the core concepts. And yes, if you're new, concepts is spelled with a K. So what are the core concepts? Let's run them down and let's see how I can apply them to the game of craps, or how I have applied them. And the thing I want to say here, and I'm probably going to say it more than once, do not think that what I'm doing here is showing you some brilliant new craps strategy that I've invented. I'm not. And I'm not telling you to go out and do this. I'm really not. Although there's no reason you can't. There's nothing brilliant or special here. There's nothing a zillion people haven't already figured out on their own. I don't need to name this for you. Almost anyone, I think, looking at the game of craps would see some of this stuff. What I'm looking at here is the application of the core concepts to the game of craps, and a way that I have found to apply these. You could find other ways to apply these, and that's always what I'm hoping happens. I've done all of this content, not so much so that everyone can follow exactly what I've done. You can walk in the snow and put your feet where I've put my feet, and it works just fine. But the deeper understanding, the sense of mastery, the able to evaluate skills come from being able to apply these ideas in casino settings and to create things that you're comfortable with, the risk and the potential reward. That playing the way you want within these guidelines gets you the types of results you're looking for, whether that's monetary gain or tier points, different strategies. We've talked about what's the mission in the recent past, right? So if the mission at craps is to generate money and tier points, but money primarily, and we are going to try to use the core concepts, let's walk them down. First core concept, learn to make wagers at a game where the house has a small house advantage. This is true of craps. Craps fits that description. Betting on the 6 or the 8 after a point has been established. House advantage, 1.52. And then we can get into per roll or per resolution, and the numbers jump around a little bit. But the point is, betting on the 6 and the 8, or the 8, is a low house advantage wager. Now we get to the 5 and the 9, we're at 4%. And that's my upper limit of what I'm comfortable with trying to beat consistently. And then we get to the 4 and the 10 as place bets, and that's 6.67. That's beyond where I want to go, at least until I've got a huge amount of house money already in my rack. But 6 and 8, right where I want bets to be. Right at a percentage that I'm happy and comfortable with in applying the rest of the core concept. So the next core concept is learn a wagering process that includes both progressive and regressive attributes. How am I going to bet? How am I going to respond to wins after a set of wins? How am I going to respond to losses after a series of losses? Or how am I going to respond to a series of wins and then perhaps reduce my bet? I've called that retrogressive betting before. So we want a wagering process. We're not going in randomly. We're going in with a plan. When A happens, I do B. When B happens, I do C. And I do that and have a process and a plan that involves moving my bets up and down in response to previous outcomes. Bankroll of money that I can afford to lose that is larger than what's needed for the game, the unit size, and the wagering process that I intend to use. Very easy to do with craps. Figure out how you're going to bet. Figure out what your small sum is that you're willing to lose. Then figure out what your small sum is that you're trying to win. And then calculate the amount of money that you need to do that in that situation. Simple math. Matter sitting down, making some notes, doing some calculations, figuring it out. Get and use a player's card from every casino that you play in and look for ways to upgrade the card through tier matches with reward systems for other casinos, hotel chains, and cruise lines. I always have a player's card. This one is taken care of for craps. I'm not going to be walking through a casino and looking to play craps and not having a player's card. Next core concept. Have the discipline to win a small set amount of money and leave, or lose a small set amount and leave. And that could be leave the table or leave the building depending on factors of time or distance. That's absolutely simple and easy to do. I'm going to do that when I calculate my bankroll and my buy-in, and I'm going to set those limits. And in the end, try to win over the long run, the month, the quarter, or the year, not the machine, the table, or the day. Always. I'm not going to go play craps and not know that. So the only thing here, and if you have losses in the long run, make up those losses with comps and gifts from the casino. There's the core concepts. So out of all of that, the only thing I haven't done is I haven't decided on a wagering process on the low house advantage wagers and the progressive and regressive attributes that go with those wagers. So here's what I've settled in on. Here's what I've been finding that works for me within this framework, within this structure. And as I said, and let me repeat, not brilliant, not special, not unique, not something zillions of people haven't already thought, talked about, done, seen, said. It's not even super fun or wild or crazy. It's not. It shouldn't be. It should be a core concept compliant wagering system. So I go to the craps table. I wait for the puck to be off. That's the black disc. It tells you what's going on in the game. I wait for that to be off. I use good manners. I use good etiquette because it's part of the etiquette of the game. And when the puck is off, I put my money and my player's card out on the table to get change. Simple, easy. I now bought into the game. I've established my buy-in. I know how much of my buy-in I'm willing to lose. I have been, just to give you some sense of it, just to give you some of what the structure I'm doing is, I have been going to a $25 table. No, check that. Let me say that a different way. I have been going to a $10 or $15 table with the intent to play a $25 unit size, and I have been buying in with $300. That is what I am trying to do. And when I get to the point where I've lost somewhere between $150 and $300-ish, right around the $200 mark, most likely, maybe a little bit over if things go badly, I'm going to be done and off the table. And if I get to the point where I've won $100, I will keep making the first bet that I'm going to tell you about in a second. And if I don't lose that first bet, I'm then going to play the following hand and the following hand and the following hand. And the first time if I get to $100 positive, the first time I lose the first bet that I make on each player, I'm done. I'm walking away from the table, and I'm going to at that point have a profit of $40 or more. So there's the bankroll and buy-in that I've calculated. There's the lose a small set amount that I've calculated I'm comfortable with. There's the small set amount I'm trying to win. And then I'm prepared to stay as long as I keep winning. And I'm willing to walk away and take a roughly $40 profit if that's all I get for the effort. That's my structure. That's my core concept. Item number 3, bankroll, buy-in, game, unit size, and wagering process calculation. $300, $10 or $15 table, and I am playing a $25 unit size. So puck is off, I buy in, I'm all set, I'm ready to go. The pit boss has my card, and I wait for a point to be established. And when a point is established, the puck goes from black to white. It says on, it goes from off to on. And that's the point for the game. And if you're not familiar enough with craps to know what a point is, I'm not going to try to teach that. That is one of those situations where if you don't know, ask Google what establishing a point means at craps, and you will find page after page after page of very bright, capable people explaining that to you. I'm not going to try to teach you the game of craps in that way. Puck was off, point established, puck on, and I am going, unless the point is a 6 or an 8. If the point is any of the other numbers, I am going to put out $30 from my rack and $30 from my rack again, a total of $60, and I'm going to tell the dealer I would like a $30 6 and a $30 8. If the point happens, let's start there. Let's just start there. I'll think through this out loud. We'll start there. I'll give you a variation in a minute. So now what I'm hoping to happen with a $30 6 and a $30 8 bet and a house advantage of 1.52% on each of those wagers is I am looking for one of those numbers to be rolled before we get to a 7. And if a 6 or an 8 is rolled and I get paid out and I tell the dealer, take my bets, let's assume it's a $15 table. If I tell the dealer, take my bets down to table minimum, which is 18 and 18, and I put the remaining chips that he gives me or she gives me back in my rack, I will have lost exactly $1. I will have $1 in the game. If it is a $10 table, I will have made a small profit. I'm following the core concepts. Bets moving up and down in response to previous outcomes. And I'm doing something that every craps player always wants to do. I'm getting to the point where I have none of the starting money for the hand, the starting money for this shooter, at risk. Every craps player that I see seems to want to get to that point. I like getting to that point. Right? My number hit once. It's a $15 table. Now I'm -1 for the shooter. If I'm at a $10 table, I have a profit. If the 6 and 8 is rolled again, when I get paid out, I tell the dealer, same bet, and now I have a profit for the shooter. I'm in good shape. I've made some money. I'm on my way to my goal of winning my small set amount. I'm in good shape. If the 6 or 8 gets rolled again, now I'm willing to start taking a little more risk. And you have two choices here. You can design this your way. As I said, I'm not telling you play this way. This is the way to do it. What I am telling you is how I'm doing it. And you have a choice here when you get paid for the third time. I prefer to take a 5 or a 9. Now that is a 4.0 house advantage wager. We're giving the house some advantage here. But if I get paid out on the 6 or 8 at an $18 level, I can put $15 on the 5 and still put $6 of profit in my rack. I'm going to start this process of pressing my bets wide or pressing my bets tall or both, which is to say I'm making progressive wagers. My bets are going up after a win or a series of wins. In this case, the bets going up that I'm using is to make additional slightly higher house advantage wagers in the hopes of hitting things more often, hitting more numbers. And I might, if it wasn't a point, eventually also stretch out to the 9 on the other side. If I got 2 more hits, say. I got paid on the 5 and then I get paid on the 6. Well, I put a lot of money in my rack and now I can put just a little money in my rack and also have the 9. And then after that, every time they hit one of my numbers, every time one of my numbers is rolled, I'm going up 1. Which is to say, if it's the 5 or the 9, I'm adding $5 to my bet on the 5 or 9. If it's the 6 or the 8, I'm adding $6 to my bet on the 6 or the 8. My bets are going up after a win or a series of wins. If the roll goes on for a long time, my numbers are going to go up, 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 up. The other thing that you could do, obviously, is just press your 6 or 8. That's an option. You could just keep adding 1, adding 1. Nothing wrong with that. Certainly core concept compliant. We're keeping the lowest house advantage wager we can get on the craps table on the place numbers at 1.52. That all works. That's within the core concepts. The other thing that I will sometimes do, if I do that process where I've now with house money stretched out to the 5 and I hit one of the numbers again, and I'm maybe a little shaky on the shooter, thinking maybe there's a little more luck than skill involved, then I can just naturally move to an iron cross, which is to say I add in a very high house advantage wager, but we're doing this all with house money. I can add in a field bet. And now, unless the horrible happens and big red is rolled, every time a number hits, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to get paid just a little on the 5, 6, or 8. And the field bet's going to be taken, and I replace the field bet with what I won, and I have just a tiny profit. Any of the other numbers, I get paid on the field bet, nice profit. And if it's a 2 or 12, I get paid double, and in some casinos, triple for the bet I have on the field bet. Once again, if I'm a little shaky on the shooter, and I'm comfortable with the profit I've made to that point, if I'm comfortable with where I am, then I just kind of go to the Iron Cross, and that's a strategy that often just generates you smaller amounts rather than larger amounts. There's a lot of reasons not to like it, but I do employ it in that situation with that type of shooter to see where things go. All right, so I've shown you the progressive part of this, the up after a win or series of wins, and that's certainly a lot more complicated than what we do at Baccarat or Blackjack. I've showed you the retrogressive, which is to say I respond to a win by lowering my bets, and I'm doing that to get to a point of minimal risk, or at a $10 table, actually a slight profit. I've shown you that. What I haven't shown you is regressive, which is to say to respond to a loss or a series of losses with an increased wager. Here's how I've been doing that. Here's how I've been setting that up. If I make that $30 and $30 wager, $30.06 and $30.08, and I get picked off, couple of things you can do, and I've tried them all and I've not settled on any of them, and they're all Core Koncept compliant. So just to wrap this up, I'll run through all the regressive processes I've messed around with. I bet the $30 on the 6, $30 on the 8. Big red is rolled. I lose those wagers. I come back with the same wagers again. If those get picked off again, which is unusual, but if those get picked off again, then my next wager is $48.48 on the 6 and the 8. And once again, if I hit 1, I collect all the winnings and I drop down to the table minimum. And now I'm hoping to repeat the process and recover and regroup. And if I lose that $48.06 and $48.08, then I'm done. I'm off the table. I'm walking away. I'm going to take that small loss and I'm going to go on about things. I'm going to have lost around that a little more than $200. That's an ouchie. That hurts. That's a bit of a sting, but that's the way I'm going to handle that. And there is nothing magical about that. It's what I'm comfortable with. You can certainly make the case that the right answer is 60 and 60, not 48 and 48. I'm just not quite comfortable there yet. You can make the argument that instead you are going to do $30.06 and $30.08. And if those get picked off, the next shooter you are going to do 48 and 48 or 60 and 60. And if those get picked off, you're done and you're out. Little smaller negative exit number, one less chance at things. You can play around with those, but it works the same way. If the first 2 bets gets picked off, then either the next bet or the bet after that, I am going up somewhere between 50%, a little more than 50%, or 100% of the original bet, 48 or 60. And once again, one hit and back down. What else? I feel like I'm missing something here. I feel like, there it is. I almost forgot about that one. In the situation where the point established is, say, the 6. We'll do both examples, but say the point established is a 6. There, I go ahead and take the slightly higher house advantage and bet the 5 and the 8. The 5 at the table at 25 and then down to table minimum. The 8 at 30 and then down to table minimum. It works out generally the same. It gets through the same process. Likewise, if the point is 8, then I will take the 6 for 30 and the 9 for 25. And again, one hit and drop down. And Mrs. TRG often says, well, why do you do that? Why are you doing that? Why not just go ahead and place who cares if the point is 6? Place your money on the 6. Perfectly valid. Again, Core Koncepts compliant. Do it that way if that suits you. That's more than fine. For me, what I've been telling her is I want the ability to hit one of 2 numbers and then drop down and keep playing as quickly as possible. It happens. We've all been there and seen it, but it's rare that someone sets the point of 6 or 8 and then immediately buckshots and hits it again. That's unusual. So I want to either go to the 5 instead of the 6 or to the 9 instead of the 8 so that I have not as many, I take more numbers, but so that I have 2 good chances to get one hit, drop my bet down, either be very close to no money in the game or have a small profit or have just a small amount of money in the game. Let me wrap up with this. We often do this as a couple. We are not a couple that she goes and plays slots and I play table games and then we get, not very often. Usually we play the same game at the same time together. So we just split it up. She makes her first bet $30 on the 6. I make my first bet $30 on the 8. When either one of us gets paid, we both drop down to table minimum. Not as many tier points. And you might want to modify this and go with a little bigger unit size if you're all about making sure you maximize your tier points, not as many tier points. But we just split the bets, play as a couple, hang out at the craps table, enjoy being at the casino, enjoy a comped glass of wine if one is available, and we spend our time and we get our tier credits. And when we get to the end, we generally find that we have won some money or lost that small set amount. And we've done it in a way that makes sense as it relates to the core concepts. All right, let's finish up. Let's adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge for some sips and just some early morning mental musings, some things I've got going on in my head that I want to tell you to wrap up this episode.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen-to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. Best virtual food and drink served in any virtual VIP lounge anywhere on the interwebs. Guaranteed or your money back. 100% money guaranteed. As always, if you can, this is the time, this is the place. Press pause. Pour yourself something. Fix a plate. Join me. I have a lovely glass of ice water here as I'm starting off a morning, getting ready to head to Florida, getting ready to go spend some time on a cruise ship with some great craps players. I have some cinnamon toast that the lovely Mrs. TRG just brought down and dropped off here as she is running off to get some things done in preparation for our trip. And just wanted to take a minute here and, as always, say thank you. But I've been doing some musings on the nature of being a gambler for profit, being a gambler for benefit. And I want to just express the idea that I don't want anyone out there to think that casino combat is cruises. Casino combat is always VIP lounges and always hanging out and having a good time and doing elaborate things, going to Las Vegas, going to Atlantic City for a long extended visit, going and doing those things. That is for many of us the end goal of being good at the game of casino gambling, being good at doing casino combat in and around casinos. That is certainly my goal, my personal goal, but there's many ways, and that's what I wanted to emphasize. That's what's in my head. That's what I'm musing on. That's what I wanted to finish up with today in this very impromptu session. I have put this together in less time than it usually takes me to research one segment. And this is just hanging out in the virtual VIP lounge with some friends, old and new, and philosophizing, waxing poetic, if you will, about the nature of doing casino combat. Casino combat is, for me, a lot of different things, and for other people, it's a different set of things. It's going to be different for each of us. If for you it is, I'm going to get to the point where I'm like TRG and I'm going to cruises and I'm going to Las Vegas, that is great. I want you to see how that is possible. But understand, part of the reason that's possible for me is that on your average Wednesday, I hit 3 different casinos. One of them buys my lunch and gives me some free slot play. And I usually put some money in to keep that wheel moving. And sometimes I get $2 and a lunch. And sometimes I get 40, 50, 60, a couple $100. And then I go on to the next casino, because that casino is going to give me, right now, they just opened a new restaurant, so they're really pushing this. It has a bakery. So right now, they give me a complimentary dessert. They give me a gift card for my local grocery store and gas station. They give me a discount on buying gasoline because I am a Players Club member, about 10%, so it's a nice discount. And then I go on to the third casino, the full-service casino, where they're going to, once again, give me some things because I am old, free slot play, lottery tickets, things like that. And then I'm going to do some meaningful table games gambling to pick up a few dollars. Part of casino combat is that grind. is that it's not glamorous, it's not interesting, and sometimes it's a GLL, a gamble lost left, and that's never fun. But there is, for me and for many of us, a grindy quality to some of what we're doing. It is a lot of different things. Which brings us to, of course, the fact that Casino Combat is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For every TRG and equine ensign who are running to Atlantic City and jumping on cruise ships and going with friends and going out to Las Vegas and doing all those things, there's another squad member. And this is one of my favorite squad members, and I've just kept his privacy because he asked me to, in terms of not throwing him a fancy call sign or drawing attention to where he lives or anything else. He works near a casino a couple days a week. Couple days a week, before work or after work, he stops in and plays some bubble craps. Very low stakes bubble craps. Sometimes they give him a little free slot play because it's Veterans Day or it's whatever is coming up. Sometimes they give him a gift card so that he can spend some money at the grocery store because Thanksgiving's coming up. He just wrote me and told me that that was getting ready to happen. Sometimes he gets a comped meal, and that takes care of some of his grocery bill. But for the last, I don't remember without looking, but I'm going to say 2 years, 11 months out of 12, that light bubble craps play at relatively low stakes has paid his cell phone bill. That's it, just paid his cell phone bill. That is very much being a member of the squad. That is very much doing Casino Combat. The casino experience is enhancing his life. Takes a minute. When it fits his schedule, someplace he's going to be anyway. It's not a date night. It's not a big fancy dinner. They comped him a deli sandwich. They gave him a free gift card to buy some groceries or some gas. And when he adds it all up, most months, some nights are winning nights, some nights are losing nights. And when he adds it all up, he almost has, every month, has enough money to pay his cell phone bill. He has enough money to pay his cell phone bill anyway. The 1 month he gets nicked a little bit, he pays his own cell phone bill. But his casino relationship, an easy casino relationship, enhances his life. And as I sit here in our lovely virtual VIP lounge with our dueling robot chefs that will make us any dish we could possibly think of, as I sip my water, knowing that I could sip some of the best virtual bourbons served anywhere in any virtual VIP lounge, as I look forward to getting ready to go on a comped cruise with people who are becoming friends, with other really good dice players, and enjoy fine dining and shows and ocean views, all because of my casino skills. I don't want anyone out there to think that there's a right or wrong way to do Casino Combat. There are a variety of ways of deploying this arsenal. And for some of us, it's deployed in different ways in different situations. Our casino wisdom teaches us ABC, always be casinoing. But sometimes casinoing is learning something new. Sometimes casinoing is grinding it out and really just picking up the lottery tickets and the this and the that and getting to the end and going, well, today was a $4 day. Whoopee fizz. I barely covered the gas. Sometimes it's the exhilaration of getting a hand pay, right? Getting all that money counted out to you and tipping the person who brought you the hand pay and getting on the phone and calling your significant other or calling your relative or calling your squad mate and going, it was great, I won, blah, 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 and just going off like that. Sometimes it's sitting in a video poker bar, sipping a comped beer, watching your favorite sports team play, and enjoying just being in the casino. Casino Combat is tools for living a casino-enhanced lifestyle. Casino Combat is a set of tools for making money. Casino Combat is a form of extreme casinoing and a way to generate and live a casino lifestyle. It's different for everybody. None of it is better or worse than anything else. It is what we all make of it. And that is a truly amazing thing to sit here and contemplate on this lovely morning as I get ready to jump on a plane and get on a cruise ship and do some great things. Because you know what else I got to do as I finish this up? I got to go to the horse track because I got enough free slot play that it's worth going, and they're going to give me a lottery ticket. And then I got 3 free bets after 5 o'clock at my local casino that's worth over a third of a day's pay. And I'm not going to leave town without doing that. But I am. I'm going to go to the horse track. I'm going to get my free slot play. I'm going to get my lottery ticket. I'm going to go downtown. I'm going to get my free bets and whatever other things they're giving away today. I'm going to maybe grab a beer. I'm going to say hi to Gabriel. Right at 5 o'clock, I'm going to have those bonus free bets, and I'm going to one at a time make them on the don't pass line. And I'm going to collect whatever I collect. And it's very possible that the free slot play isn't going to generate anything, that the lottery ticket's going to get scratched off and it's going to be a dud. And I'm not going to win any of those 3 bets. And I'm going to come back home barely having paid for the gas. And that's Casino Combat. And when I get on the cruise ship tomorrow, a day after tomorrow, but when I get on that cruise ship and step out on my balcony and see the folks from PCH and go to dinner and go to the reception and drink the Buffalo Trace bourbon, that's Casino Combat too. They're both just different forms of it. That they're both just different ways of doing things. Please tip your waitress, tip your bartender, tip your dealer. If you have a host, tip your host. Remember your wisdoms, everybody. Don't tip away your win. If you don't have a host and you would like a host that you don't need to tip, email me, trg@casinocombat.com. Tell me where you want to go. Tell me that you heard about things on the podcast. I will happy to be your concierge for all things casino. I will be happy to make sure that you get each and every single comp that your play deserves. I have spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out I was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand I was born a Ramblin' Man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. The best part of the podcast is next, the Casino Combat Blues.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight. I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition. You should probably play alone. I know the house has that advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card. Put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now. Do it just the way we planned. Just follow the core concepts and you could win several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that. Don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business. The Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.